Lesson 4-6, Solving Proportions. A proportion is an equation stating two ratios or rates are equal. So an example would be if we had 4/2, this is proportionate to 8/4, because what you can do to the top is multiply by 2, multiply the bottom by 2, or you can simplify the 8/4 to get the 4/2 as well. We use cross products when we are solving for proportions. We also call this cross multiplication. So we have an example here in terms of variables. A/B equals C/D. So what that would mean is that A times D would equal C times B. So this is our cross product result. You cross the numbers and then that would be what you get. We can use cross products when we are trying to solve proportions. So here's an example of B/15 equals 66/90. So you can look at this and you can cross the numbers to present yourself with an equation and a variable and then solve. So we cross and we have 90 times B equals, and we cross the other side, 66 times 15. So now you would solve 90B equals 990. You divide both sides by 90, and that's going to tell you that B is 11. So that's how you would solve using your cross products. Pause the video to try a few examples on your own. So for the first example, we have x/4 equals 7/20. If you cross multiply, you have 20x equals 28. You divide both sides by 20, and you get x equals 1.4. For the next example, we multiply 7 times 12 and 14 times c. We get 84 equals 14c. You divide both sides by 14, and we get c is equal to 6. Proportions are often used in real-life examples when someone goes to the grocery store and there's a price of something and it says that you can get 5 items for $22. Well, sometimes people want to figure out, if I can get 5 items for $22, how much would one item be? Or how much would 13 items be? And so you can use proportions to solve that. So here's an example. Mr. Mullins paid $30 for 4 students to visit the History Museum. Find the cost for 20 students. So we can do this by setting up a proportion. We're going to let x represent the cost of 20 students. So if we have the cost, $30 for 4 students, then that equals how much for 20 students. So now in this sense, you are able to figure out, what did I do to 4 to get 20? Well, we know that we multiplied it by 5. So whatever you do to the bottom, you would do to the top. Now, this doesn't always work because sometimes one number doesn't evenly get multiplied by something to get the other number. But if you know that 20 is a multiple of 4, then you can go ahead and solve that way. So this would be x equals 150. You can also use cross products here. So you would have 30 times 20 equals 4x. Your 30 times your 20 would be 600 equals 4x, and you divide both sides by 4, and you would get your 150. You could also solve this problem using something that we call the constant of proportionality. And this is where you find the price of one student and then you multiply it by your 20. So to do that, you would take the price of your 4 and divide it. So 30 divided by 4 is going to equal $7.50. Then you can use that price and multiply it by any number that you're trying to solve for. In this case, we're trying to solve for 20, so we would multiply it by 20 and get 150. But if we say we wanted to multiply it by 200, you could multiply it by 200 and get your answer. You could multiply it by 17 if you had 3 students that decided they didn't want to go. So you use this constant of proportionality when you have a variety of different numbers, or you're just trying to get a very generic, the cost of one item. Pause the video to complete the lesson review. Make sure you show me this lesson review for verification of this video.